Okay, so here we are at the start of round one. We go with Hoggle first. He is a green speed die. We rolled a 4. We're going to go towards Sarah. 2, 3, 4. We pick a card. Get that in focus. The Trash Lady. Test wit versus 1 black die. I don't know. No, I don't know why you're struggling. Autofocus. Success, discard this card. Fail, lose 1 will point and leave this card on the space. Okay, so we have to test our wits. Hoggle's wits are actually a black die, so we roll the bad guy first. They rolled a 1. Come on, Hoggle, you can do this. Hoggle, haggle, Hoggle. Hoggle, yeah. We rolled a 7. We did indeed do this. So we discard the card. Excellent. Good first round. Then we go over to... And we give the possible wiggle as I touch the screen. For some reason... Actually, yes. No, that is true. Quite where it should be. I'm not going to start again. We'll just have to accept that. Let's clear up the green. Black speed for Seditimus. 7. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's put him next to Ludo for now. Head area in focus, so we're going to pick up a card and ruin that anyway. We have the Worm. Keep this card on your character sheet. Discard this card to roll an extra blue die for a failed wit test without losing a willpower token. You cannot use this card in the Goblin King's castle maze. That's fine because Seditimus can't get there anyway. That's good. That's an extra get out of trouble free card, and it leaves the area blank. So next we are going with Ludo. Up there in the corner, he has got a yellow speed dice. Got an 8. 5, 6, 7. Down here. Gets a card, which will ruin the focus anyway. Goblin Guards, test brawn versus 1 green die and 1 yellow die. So when it states 2 dice like this, you roll both, you pick the highest one. You don't add them up. Success, discard this card. Fail, lose 1 willpower. Okay, so brawn for Ludo is a black, and it's against the green, and a yellow. They rolled a 7 top. We rolled an 11, so we win. Discard the card. All right, good start. Good start. All right, so now we're down to Sarah, who's also down in this corner. She's down here. Got a purple speed. Rolled a 10. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You do have to use all of your movement, by the way. You can't just stop anywhere you like along the way. We pick a card. Goblin Knight. Test brawn versus 1 yellow die. Success, discard this card. All right. Brawn for Sarah is a green against the yellow. They've got the advantage here. They rolled a 2, we rolled a 4. Excellent. Discard this card. All right. Honestly, not a bad first round as we're trying to find the entrance to the Goblin Castle. Not bad at all. So it's now technically the Goblin King's turn. That just moves the clock on. You can just about see down the bottom here. You won't be able to see all of it, but you can see some of it we moved around on. You just need to go into round 2. Okay, so here we are into round 2. Go with Hoggle first. He's got his green speed die. He rolled a 6. We're going to send him after Sarah, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There is a benefit of grouping up. If we get there, we'll go through that then. Try and get this in focus. False alarms. Test wits versus 1 red die. Success, leave this card on the space. Fail, lose 1 willpower. All right, so it's definitely staying on the space. Let's get Hoggle into focus as we do this. Right, so wits for Hoggle is a black die. That's good. Versus a red. Is in our favour. Although normally when I say something like that, we fail. They rolled a 4. We rolled a 12. All right, good going. So we succeeded. We don't need the willpower, but that does stay on the board. So what that means is that card is always there. So even though we've landed on a load of spaces, they're still blanks. If we landed on them again, we draw another card. Whenever we land on that, that is the card. We don't draw another one. Obviously, to win the game, we need to get through this deck of cards. So that's a negative, but it's not awful. So we now need to go over to Seditimus. Forgive the wobble every time I have to do autofocus. I'll think of a better system at some point, but this is just more of a test really than anything else. All right, he's got black speed. He rolled a 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pull a card. Helping hands. The player whose go it is chooses odds or evens, then runs one blue die. If you roll what you chose, leave this card on the space. Otherwise, leave this card on the space, and all characters on the space lose 1 willpower. And I move to the oubliette. Oh, this could be bad. All right, do I want to go odds or evens? I don't know what the up and down mean. I'm just going to do odds or evens. I'm going to call odds. We rolled a 3, which was indeed odd. Leave this card on the space. That's quite a nasty card for willpower drain, but we did at least pass the test. All right, so now we move over to Ludo. His speed is a yellow. Got a 7. 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't really want to put him over there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, because I want cards. We need to burn through this deck. It would have been nice to group up, but we got to burn through this. Get this card in focus. Gloomy, scary forest. Each character on this space tests wits versus 1 purple die. You cannot test as a group. Okay, well, we're not a group, so that's fine. Each character. So yeah, if we were a group, we'd have to do it for all of them. Normally, it's just the person whose move it is. So that's quite a nasty. And it stays on the space. We've got a load of nasty cards. All right, what are your wits, Ludo? Green wits versus a purple. This is definitely in their favour. They rolled a 10, we rolled a 1. So not only do we lose 1 willpower, I'll throw that in the tray. We are moved to the Bog of Eternal Stench. Is over here. That stays on the space. And we gain a smelly token for Ludo, which can have problems if we try to group up. So not good. Not good. So now we're over to Sarah, who I think I just about got in focus there. Her speed is a purple, if I remember correctly. You rolled a 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, that was wrong. Where was she? Was she here? Yes. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to move it down here. Just so we can get a card. Then we'll pull this into focus. Doors of the 4 guards. Test wit versus 1 black die. Okay. What are your wits? Purple versus a black. So again, it's in their favour. We rolled a 10, they rolled a 1. All right, nice. We win, but we do leave this card on this space. Why? No, I'm not going to. That's just stupid. Kind of had them facing me, but we did win. All right, so now it's over to the Goblin King, so we just moved us on to round 3. 3rd hour, and then we'll move on to round 3. Okay, so here we are at the top of round 3. Same as always, we go with Hoggle first. He is a green speed die. We rolled a 3. We're going to move him down here. Again towards Sarah, just in case we ever want to group up. We pull a card. Get it in focus. Fairy Lichen, spooky. No effect, leave this card on the space. Not great, not terrible. So now we're over to Seditimus. He's over at the top there. His speed is black. And he got a 1! What a use of all that fantastic speed. Alright, and then we pull a card. There's. Oh, this sounds nasty. Thank you for completely losing focus for no apparent reason. Test wit versus 1 green die. Success, leave this. Oh, so it stays on the space. Oh, it's always here. This is nasty. So if we fail, we leave the card on the space as well. You cannot rest or move, and you're stuck on that space until you get out of it. Alright, well, hopefully Seditimus can get out of this straight away. So it's a wit dice, which for Seditimus is a yellow versus a green. We were yellow. We rolled 4. They rolled 1. He didn't indeed succeed. It stays there, but he's free to move next round, which is excellent. So now we move over to Ludo, who is up in the corner up there. His speed is a yellow. 4. I can move him onto the snares, or I can bring him down here for a card. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to go for the card. I think that makes the most sense, don't you? So, Goblin! Test Brawn versus 1 green and 1 red. Success, discard this card. It would be nice to get rid of a card, leave at least one space empty. We are testing Brawn, which for Ludo is a black versus a green and a red, so we can roll them all at the same time. Alright, so their top was a 4. We rolled a 7. We win. Get rid of the card. Good job, Ludo. Clean up, and then we'll do Sarah's move, who is down here, down the bottom, looking away from everybody. Their speed is a point ball. Point ball. 2. Nothing on here that says I can't do this, right? No, because we failed. We passed that. Alright, so we've got 2. Pull a card. Have to remember to check the cards underneath before you kind of move. Just in case you have to. Well, you only do them when you arrive. You don't do them when you. The Wise Man and his hat. Keep this card on your character sheet. Okay. There should be a bonus. Discard this card to roll an extra blue die for a failed wit test. Alright, well, we'll keep that next to Sarah. So she's got a brawl and a wit card now. The brawl one being her special. Let's put that one up. And Seditimus has also got a wit one, right? Yes, the worm was also wit. Okay, not a bad round. We move the clock. And we move on to the next round. Alright, so here we are, top of round 4. As always, it is Hoggle to go first with his green speed. He rolled a 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right. Doesn't get him in the oubliette, which is good. You don't want to get in the oubliette because you fall asleep. So we have to be wary of that. Looks like we've got the Goblin King coming out. The Peach. Place Jareth on this space. Keep this card on your character sheet. Okay, so Hoggle. When in the same space as Sarah, immediately test wit versus 1 blue. You cannot test as a group. Success, we discard. Fail, discard, discard. Sarah loses 1 willpower and falls asleep. You lose 2 willpower. Oh, that's nasty. We've got to try and keep Hoggle and Sarah away from each other, and I have to try and remember that card is there. Which, you know, the trouble, even with a fairly simple game like this, whenever you start to have to remember things that you've put places, they're very easy to forget. Alright, so we've got a black speed on Seditimus. Got a 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He succeeded on his snare, so he didn't have to do the test. He wasn't snared. He was quite able to move. Goblin. Test brawn versus 1 red die. Success, discard. Failed, he's 1 willpower. Okay. Seditimus, what's your brawn? You're a purple brawn. And it's 1 red die. They rolled a 4. We rolled an 8. Alright. Nicely done, Seditimus. That's a discarded card and a free space still. Now we move down to Ludo here. Speed is yellow. 7. I'll do some counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That gets me the helping hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Gets me to with Sarah, but it is empty, so I do get to draw a card, and I'm not the one who's got the peach, so that's fine. Although it looks like the Goblin King is coming back out again. If the old camera will focus. Upping the stakes. Place Jareth on the space. Test wit versus 1 blue die. All right. See you later, Hoggle. I'm going to have a party on this space over here. Face Ludo towards the camera because I quite like Ludo. All right, Ludo, what is your wit? A green? A green versus a d20. All right, d6 versus a d20. Face your bet. Oh, we got a 6, but he got a 7. This is a wit card. Ludo's got nothing, so we just have to accept it. So that is a fail for Ludo. Discard this card, move the hand of the Goblin Clock 1 hour forwards. Alright, so we've lost an hour, but we do discard the card. That does mean we've lost a round, and we've only got up to the round 13 to win. That's not good. That's not good. That was Ludo. We still got to go with Sarah, who was on the same space. She's got a purple speed. That's a 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. Yes, we can put her with Seditimus. Can't put her with Hoggle. A card. The Cleaners. Test speed versus 1 yellow die. Test discard. Fail, lose 2 willpower. All right, so we are playing as Sarah. Our speed is purple against the yellow. We rolled a 1. They rolled a 2, so we lost. Wow. We got nothing we can do for speed. Lose 2 willpower and leave this card on the space. Oh, that hurts, Sarah. That hurts. That hurts a lot. All right, clean up. It's now over to Goblin King, so we move it on. And that is the end of that round. Alrighty, here we are at the top of round 5. Even though the clock is already on 6, because we had quite a disastrous round last round. So let's do better, team. Let's do better. Where is Hoggle right now? He's down here. So let's pull the focus on him. Although he's behind Ludo. I don't know how the camera's going to deal with that, honestly. With his green speed, we don't want him to get on the same space as Sarah. Which is good, because he can't. We're going to move him over here. We can pull a card. Also, Ludo is stinky, so we have to remember that if we want to try and do... Jareth appears! God, he's coming out all the time now. He's going to have a ball. And we've got to test wits again. Alright, so you get to move down here. You just go back into your castle. Success, discard the card. Alright, well, let's go with that. And what are your wits, Hoggle? Can't tell because you're holding a peach. I still can't tell. That's a black. All right, you got black wits. That's good wits. There's a chance. No, there isn't. We rolled a 5. They got an 8. So Goblin King wins, so fail. Leave this card on the space. Characters on the space cannot rest or move, but must test wit again when it's their go. Okay, so Hoggle is kind of stuck on this space until he gets out of this mess. Which again, I have to try and remember. He is stuck. He's got to test wits again to get out. That's not good. That's not good. This is all going wrong. All right, so now we've got to go and move Seditimus. Who isn't stuck, I don't think. No. He has got a speed of black speed. That is a 9. 2, 4, 5, 6. Oh, that takes into the swamp. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That takes into... Not a good round. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. No effect, but no card. It's a shame. So now we're on to Ludo. He's got a speed of yellow. There's a 5. 1, 3, 4, 5. All right, we can put them just behind 6. You get a card. We're looking for the gateway to the Goblin Castle. We can start to do the end game. Junkyard. Test wits versus 1 purple. Okay. What are your wits? Green wits versus a purple. They win. Oh, we're not doing well. Fail. Lose 1 willpower. Good. And leave this card on the space. Excellent. Alright, and now we just got poor old Sarah to go with her purple speed. There's a 2, so we're going to have to move her this way. At least get a card. This has a lot of text on it. So much so that there's no artwork. Alright. To give this card to another player, I'm the only player who will read Jareth's part. You and you alone must answer correctly off by heart. Well, I'm playing 1 player. I pass the card to myself so I can cheat. I'm gonna count it as a success. And discard this card. Because why not? So I can play it 1 player, then give me cards that I can't play as 1 player if you want me to play properly. That was Sarah's turn, so we just run up the clock. And that is the end of that round. Here we are at the top of round 6. Hour 7 on the clock. We've got to find this entrance soon, or I mean, I already feel like we're in trouble, but that's fine. That's fine. As always, we start with Hoggle with his green speed. You got a 2. I can't move him to where Sarah is, so we're going to move him over here. Not want to have to play that. No, hang on. He has to test his wits. He has to test his wits before he can move. Does have black wits. But must test wits again when it's their go. This continues to the spell is broken by passing the test. Alright. We rolled a 2, they rolled a 12. Alright, he is still stuck where he is. So no, we do not get to pick a card, and he is still stuck. So now we are on to Seditimus with his black speed. The 9. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we do get to pick a card. Come on, Goblin Gate. Nope. Spoilers, but nope. It keeps changing. That's a lot of text. Discard this card, and if there are any other cards on the board, move the card that is on the nearest space to this space. It's going to be Helping Hands. Then follow the instructions on that card. Okay, so we get rid of that card. We move Helping Hands onto Seditimus. And we have to do odds and evens again. Or we end up in the oubliette. Alright. Well, we did odds last time, so I'll do evens on a blue. That's an odd. All characters in space. Right, so we lose 1 willpower, and we are moved to the oubliette. It's not good. This Seditimus is down a willpower. We are on the oubliette, and we are asleep. And Helping Hand. Oh god, where was he? I think he was there. That should be back on that space, but I can't remember. I can't remember quite where he was before I took him to the oubliette. I think that's right. Okay, so Ogle is stuck. Seditimus is asleep. Otherwise, it's going great. See if Ludo can pull something out of the bag here. Alright, 2. Alright, well, we'll move over here. You weren't stuck or anything, were you? You do get a card. I don't think we're going to get to see the end game. For some reason. Ambushed by Fireys. Test Brawn versus one purple die. Alright, and that's Ludo, who's up there. What is your Brawn? Your Brawn is at least good. A black versus a purple. They rolled a 10. We rolled a 5. Good God! This is not going well. Alright, so Ludo loses another willpower, and we leave this card on the space. Things are not looking good. Things are not looking good. Alright, so then we got to go on to Sarah with her purple speed. Got a 7. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. Nope. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, well. We don't want to hit snares. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. She's on the fairy lights. No card. No effect. Terrible, terrible. Round 6. We move the clock to 8. And we'll see if we can recover in the next round. Alright, here we are at the top of round 7. Things are not looking good. We're at hour 8 on the clock. Hoggle is still... Hoggle is still stuck and has to test his wits versus a blue die. He finally won, which means he can move next turn. Which, just so I keep track of that, I'm going to turn that upside down just so I know that he does not have to test wits next turn. Seditimus cannot move. He is asleep, so he has to rest. Doesn't have to roll a green die because he's in the oubliette, but he does regain a willpower because of that. He's something, but he cannot move. So we are straight on to Ludo, who's up the top here, who is not stuck. He's not stuck, so he can move with his yellow speed. Of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's get him to somewhere we can at least pull a card, so there's a chance of finding this gateway. Nope. Spoilers again. Sleepy Goblin Guard. Choose to sneak past. Test speed or face him. Test brawn. I believe brawn is better for Ludo than speed. So it's going to be 1 black versus 1 yellow die. They rolled a 1. We rolled a 6. So, oh my God, we won something. Discard this card. All right, nice. At least Ludo is still playing, everybody. Everyone else seems to have given up already. And now we're on to Sarah, who is not stuck with her purple speed. Roll a 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Need to get to draw another card. Hey! We found the entrance to Goblin City. So, for the top of the next round, I will make sure everything is set up. Because that was the last turn, but we moved the clock to hour 9. And yes, I'll see you for the next round as I set up the Goblin Castle. All right. All right, here we are at the top of round 8, and you can see we've added a few things to the board. So we now have the entrance to the Goblin Castle, which is where Sarah is right now. We need to now challenge these 4 different guards. So the first one to challenge, the first square we get onto is this one here with the Humongous. The camera's probably going to stay focused on the Humongous until it's gone, just because it is big and it does still focus. So just bear that in mind. Hoggle is free this time, so we can move, but we'll then flip that card over just in case somebody else lands on it. We haven't got rid of that card. That was just to remind me. We don't actually want him to go into the fights because we don't want to have to test the peach, but we may have to just to make it work. And we also have the trouble with Ludo that he smells, which I think means he can't participate in group roles. But we want to get Ludo there because he is our best brawler to try and get these through, because these are all basically brawl roles. We do have still got our 4 specials, which are all extra rolls for brawl. We can add a blue die, d20 to a brawl roll, to a failed brawl roll, sorry. So hopefully we can smash through these fairly easy, so we may get to see the final thing. Oh, also, I was meant to move him back in his castle. He's in his castle now, hiding behind his guards. So, we're going to start with Hoggle with his green speed. He cannot make it to the castle, but we're going to move him that way. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You do still pull cards, as far as I'm aware, anyway. Prince is coming back out. That's wit versus 1 blue die. Prince of the Land of Stench. I don't really want anyone else to go to the bog. The wits for Hoggle are black. There's a chance. Not when the Goblin King rolls a 20. So, we failed. Discard this card. Characters on the space are moved to the bog of Eternal Stench. Excellent. First class. Hoggle is now stinky. Seditimus can also move now, so let's get his roll out of the way. Oh, we turn this card back over because it's still there. I'm going to leave him in the castle. I know it says to move him into that space, but he's meant to be in this castle now, so we're just going to leave him there. He does not have a D20 move. That would be great. Sadly, it's only a black, and he only got a 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No effect, but doesn't help with the fights. So we can move straight on to Ludo. Again, I'm trying to focus, but the humongous may just steal all of the attention. Who's got yellow speed? That's a 4. 3, 4. Means we do get to pull a card. Again, I don't think you stop pulling cards just because we found the entrance. Goblin Mob. Choose to trick them, so it's wits or brawn. Well, Ludo's brawn is his best, even if it is against a green and a yellow. So yeah, we'll do black versus a green and a yellow. So they rolled a top of 3. We rolled 11. Good strong win from Ludo. Discard this card. Okay, and now it's Sarah's turn. She is going to get into the humongous. It's almost not worth doing her speed roll because the only place she can get to is the humongous. She's only 1 away from it, and we haven't beaten him yet. So, the humongous. Test brawn versus 1 blue die. Success removes the humongous. So, Sarah's brawn is a green versus a blue. They rolled a 4. We rolled a 6. All right, that gets rid of the humongous. All right, there is still a chance. There is still a chance. The humongous is down. The next up is the goblin infantry. But again, if we can get some people there to help her out before she has to start. Although everyone is stinky, and I don't think you can take stinkiness away. I may check that between rounds. But we moved the clock to 10. We've only got 3 more turns, which means we have to knock more than one of these guards out per turn to even have a chance of getting in to do the final thing. So, let's see how we go. Okay, so a brief pre-round 9 correction, which we're going to do here because this could be important. So, when you land on the bog of Eternal Stench, you don't automatically get smelled. You have to do a roll. And you roll your speed die. So I'm going to do a roll for both Hoggle and Ludo to see if they should have the stinky on them or not. Because this is going to be important going forward. So, for Hoggle, what did I say? Speed die. Alright, so we want anything but a 1 or a 2. Basically. An 8, that's great. So he is not actually stinky. And he can carry on as normal. And then I'm going to do the same correction for Ludo. Wait, that's meant to be a speed die. Why did I roll a yellow for Haggar? I'm going to have to do that again. Alright, that was a 6. That's still good. It's yellow for Ludo. And again, I rolled an 8. That was kind of lucky. Okay, so none of them are actually stinky. So that's just a brief correction before we go into the next round. Okay, so here we are into round 9. After we've done our corrections. Hoggle is up in the Bog of Eternal Stench there, and he is going to go first. Now, if I get him into the square... Now, I can get him past the square with Sarah, but if he lands on the square with Sarah, we're going to have to do the peach. So we have to bear that in mind, but we're going to have to try and push it. So, green speed, he rolled a 3. That doesn't even want to... That just gets him to the entrance. That's honestly not good, but it could have been worse. So now we're on to Seditimus, who's down the bottom here. He is a black speed. That's a 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Doesn't even get him there. You have to pull another card, which could be potentially terrible. The Goblin King card. Piece of cake. Alright, well, that seems appropriate. Test wit versus 1 blue die. Oh god, here we go. And then there's some options. Okay, so Seditimus, your wits are yellow. And we've got to test them against the blue. Good luck, Seditimus. 3 versus a 17. Alright, well that was a huge fail. Oh no, the cleaners. Test speed versus 1 yellow die. Alright, well that's better for you. The black versus a yellow in our favour. We rolled a 9, they rolled a 1. Excellent. Success, discard this card. Fantastic. We're now on to Ludo, who isn't stinky, which is good. I'm glad I read those rules and did those corrections. However, he does only have 1 willpower left. Which means if we send him in and he whiffs, he's going to end up in the oubliette and have to make his way back. He's not going to make it back in time. Whereas I can risk a move here to rest and give him 2 willpower. But it's not a guaranteed chance. I think I have to roll a green die on a rest move when it's not in the oubliette. Yeah, if you roll a 4 or more, you gain a willpower token. Yeah, it's a 50-50 chance. I need to defeat these guys, so I think I've got to get him in and swing. He does have his brawl special to try and get him out of trouble at least once. Yeah, I've got to. And we want 3 or more here. We got 3. All right. 1, 2, 3. So he is now going to face the Goblin Infantry, I believe they're called. Yep. And again, they have a handy-dandy card here. These are all in the instructions as well, but they give you these cards so you don't have to refer to it, which I think is quite nice. Test Brawn versus 1 red, 1 green, and 1 yellow. Again, Ludo is our brawler. So hopefully we can knock this out. So we rolled an 8. Their top roll was a 5. Fantastic. Good old Ludo. We can always depend on you. So they are gone as well now. And that space is now clear. Now, do I move Sarah? I have to. She's got what? 4 willpower? 3 willpower? She's got 3 willpower left. I have to. I don't have the time to take this cautiously. So we have to roll her speed this time because she can possibly not make it. She didn't make it. She ends up on Ludo Square. God darn it. So we move the clock on to hour 11. And we move on to the next round. Alrighty, so here we are at the top of round 10. We're at the 11th hour because we've got that terrible card which moved the clock forward and is confusing me every time. We're going with Hoggle first, as we always do. So that's a green speed die. We need 1, 2, we need 3. 3 or more. We've got a 4. We're going to have to send him straight in, even though brawling is not his forte. So we're taking on the Goblin Cavalry. Test Brawn versus 1 green die, 1 yellow die, and 1 purple die. Always Brawn for these fights. That refocus? I think so. What is your Brawn? God, it's only a yellow. Alright, so we're going to have to roll theirs first because we are using the same dice. They got a top of 6. It's going to be hard for us to beat, honestly. Although we do have his spec. No, we got an 8. Good roll. Good roll. So we have beaten the cavalry. They are done. Hoggle, you are starting to show your worth towards the end here. Right, if we can get Seditimus in to take out the goblin artillery, and we can get Sarah into the castle, bearing in mind Sarah is the only one who can get in the castle and do these final bits, so it's her we need to get in, then we can push forward, and it is Seditimus' turn. He is a black speed die, so you would hope he can get there with a decent roll. Oh, he rolled a 1. He rolled a 1. Ah. Oh. Let's hope Ludo can pick up the slack here, because that was awful, Seditimus. Absolutely awful. All right, I need 2 or more from you, Ludo. He rolled a 1. Oh my god, the pain. The pain. This is not good. We might have 1 go at the final thing. But I'm doubting it. All right, Sarah, with your purple movement and your free will powers. All right, you've got a 5, so you can at least take him on. You do still have your brawn roll. Brawl roll. No, brawn. Brawn is right. All right, so we can take on the artillery. Hasn't this just been awful? Test brawn versus 1 yellow die, 1 purple, and 1 black. So your brawn is green, so we can roll all at the same time. Yellow, black, purple. Their top was a 12. We did roll a 6, which is the best we could do, but we've got to try and beat a 12. I'm going to use my special card. Because I don't actually think I've shown one of these off. So these are all the same, essentially. They've just got different flavor text for the different characters. But basically, I can add a blue die to a brawl. Which I'm going to do. So I'm going to flip that over so I know that I've used it. I need to get at least a 6 from here. I rolled a 10. We did it. The artillery is down. I can't move, though. Everyone else's moves are pointless for the next round. So we're just going to basically carry on. So we're going to move the clock up to 12. No one else can do it. So we're going to move Sarah in, which means she now has to do the Goblin King's Maze. And if she fails, we've lost. So it all comes down to this. Final round. Final push. Test wits versus 1 blue die. Alright. I can't use her extra wits card because I can't use it for the Goblin King's Maze. It actually says that, doesn't it? It does. So, here we go. She's got purple wits against the blue. If she wins, we win. If she loses, the baby is forever gone. She rolled a 2. He rolled an 11. The clock moves up to 13. And we failed. You're going to have some explaining to do to your parents there, Sarah. That's all I can say. But there we go. That is Labyrinth, the board game. I hope you enjoyed. And I will see you all when I see you all. Goodbye for now.